Oh, what's up, Metal Summoners? It is so super great to see you guys as always. Thanks for rocking out with us. Thanks for enjoying yourselves, enjoying watching us, and supporting all of the amazing artists, the amazing guests that we have on this show. Welcome back to your Island of Misfit Toys as we kick off the weekend in the middle of the week. We've got Angel Alamone, we've got myself, but more importantly, we've got Night's Edge coming through the night as he cruises down from North Carolina. But we have got bass player, frontman, Brian Haran from Night's Edge joining us this evening. Brian, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for some of your time this evening and welcome to the Metal Summit.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be part of the Metal Summit tonight. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good.
Awesome.
Cool.
Absolutely, man, for sure. Well, first and foremost, let's jump into some fun with Night's Edge because it wasn't that long ago that you guys put out your latest release. And how has that been? How's the reception been? And it's always got to feel great to have new music out there.
Yeah, so we put out our latest album, Strangers, at the end of 2023. I believe we did the release show on December 1st, and it was on streaming on December 8th. Those might be backwards, but it was something like that. December of 2023, so it's not quite a year old. And the album has definitely done better than any of our albums before it. It is, up until that point, the best thing that we've put out, and we're still really proud of it, the songs that are on it, but we are also already working on the next one. We recorded 4 new songs back in June and July. I'm in the process of mixing them. We're going to get them mastered in probably the middle of next month, and I don't know if we're going to put them out right away or if we're going to hang on to them and wait to release them with the full album because we're going to finish recording album 4 in early winter. So that the idea to have everything done by like the end of spring next year, we can figure out our release plan. But we might put 1 or 2 out early. We'll see. We haven't decided.
For sure, absolutely. And you've always been down for the writing cause. With all various like ideas, incarnations, of which there haven't been like a ton of them, but you've had your fair share when it came to Night's Edge already. But when it comes to getting music out there for the fans, you've always enjoyed having new music out there for them to listen to, whether it's an original piece or the occasional cover. But how do you
Mhm.
kind of look at the way you like to release music? Are you kind of down for kind of basically the modern, singles as you go or keep things fresh periodic thing? Or do you have that part of you that loves a fuller release?
So I definitely like the full album release, but I'm not totally against the modern strategy that I'm sure you've been seeing of bands releasing like 5 or 6 singles of the album. Like on hand, then less of the album is new when it finally does come out. But on the other hand, it is always kind of cool to get music early and to be able to like digest a song at a time. And the reason why bands do it is it makes the life cycle of the music in the popular ear last longer. So it definitely has a practical use. So that is something that we kind of did with Strangers because we did like 4 pre-release singles um, for a 11 or 12 song album with a day of music video as well. In addition to that, so we haven't fully decided if we're going to do that same thing for album 4, but we might. And I mean, it's super common. Like Sleep Token did it for Take Me Back to Eden. Like Spirit Box. I mean, I think Holy Roller came out like a solid year before that album, um, Eternal Blue. And I mean, bands are doing it right now. Like Unto Others just released like the 4th pre-release single for an album that's coming out next month. So
For sure, man. Absolutely. And before I kick it over to Angel, how give us a little bit of history in the formation of Night's Edge because you and I go way back, throughout the local Baltimore scene and stuff like that. We've known each other
yes.
for a while through some previous bands as well. But what was your thought process behind starting Night's Edge and where was your brain kind of at for that?
So I started Night's Edge because I wanted to have a band that could be kind of my creative outlet, and I think it started in 2018 or maybe it was 2017. I'm not actually sure the first year, but so it took us a little while to settle on our drummer, and then we found Dan, who was still our drummer. And at the time, we had a different lineup. We had a bassist and a keyboardist. For a long time, it was Dan, myself, Tim, and Tyler. And over time, both Tim and Tyler ended up no longer being a part of the band, and it was just me and Dan about maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was just me and him. So it was kind of a crossroads of like, well, it's just the two of us. What are we going to do now? And we had known Damien, who's our guitarist now. We had known him for a long time already, and he stepped forward and was like, "Hey, I'll play guitar for you guys. Like, I want to be part of this." So he got on guitar, and I moved to bass, and Dan stayed on drums, and we've just been moving forward as a three-piece since sometime last year, 2023. Yeah, I think Damien's first show with us was May 2023, and he
Nice.
joined in like January of 20 or February of 2023. So something like that. It's almost 2 years.
Yeah. Nice, man, for sure. And from the earliest incantation of Night's Edge, you were on guitar as well as on vocals, like you still are now as vocals. What was your thought process when you brought in another guitarist? Did you think, hey, now I kind of have like a crossroads thing to do? Did you think about maybe finding a bass player and you just kind of putting your instrument down for a while and simply fronting the band in a four-piece style? Or were you comfortable going to bass and just keeping the simplicity of three?
So it was at first, it was definitely the second one. The goal at first was like, okay, we've got Damien on guitar, we've got Dan on drums, we've got me. And I got the vocals covered, and I can play guitar sometimes just front, and we'll find a bassist. And we weren't really finding kind of the right fit that we were looking for. So at that point, it was like, whatever, I'll just pick up the bass, and we'll be a power trio, and that's just what we've been doing.
Nice.
I do think in the future we would be interested in finding a dedicated bassist and kind of returning to the plan of like I play second guitar on certain songs that need it, and then I just front the band for other songs because I do enjoy um, sometimes being able to just focus on singing. But we're not in a huge rush to do that either. Like if it happens organically, it happens. If it doesn't,
Totally.
we're also fine. Just moving forward as a three piece like we have.
Absolutely, man, for sure. Angel, my friend, great to see you as always. How are you this evening? And take it away.
Awesome. Just want to say thank you for your time.
Of course, thank you for
Really
having me.
awesome to have you. Question is, what are the challenges that you face of keeping a band together?
So fortunately, with the guys that I got right now, there really haven't been a whole lot of challenges. Dan and Damien are great. Um, it's been going smooth. I think in general, the challenges that you have with keeping a band together, um, there's a different ones in there for different reasons. Sometimes there's interpersonal things that you can get in any sort of um, relationship that you can have with any kind of person, whether it's a friendship or if you're, dating somebody, being in a band is a complex relationship in and of itself. So sometimes you have that. Sometimes you have things that life just gets in the way, like people might not have enough time to dedicate to the band, or they might not be as interested in traveling as often to, play shows that may or may not be worth the travel, but you don't know until you get there and try it. So you have to find people like kind of very similar to dating. You have to find people with similar interests and similar values, I guess, and then go from there.
And man, you guys got a show coming up this Saturday?
So it's Friday. We're playing
Friday,
at the
sorry.
Blue. Yeah, this Friday we're playing at the Blue Fox in Winchester. we are opening up for Disaster Piece, who are they're like a metal hip hop hybrid, so kind of in a new metal vein ish. I don't know if I would like 100% categorize them under that, but they're from New Jersey and they're on tour, so we are supporting them. And also on the bill is Path to Exile, who really great heavy metal heavy band. We actually played with them back last year in Southern Maryland at this Christmas bash that they throw down there. And Path to Exile was really killer. We're looking forward to playing, sharing the stage with them again. But yeah, that's Friday, and we're starting the show. We're on at 9. First band.
And tickets are $15, which is not bad.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's 15. Yep.
So when it comes to the songwriting, how do you know when you have a good song? How do you know when you have a song that you just want to push to the side because for some reason or another, it's just not working out with the song?
So usually I try not to scrap ideas. I will try to rework them and figure out what it is that I don't like about it. Because generally when I have like a full song, usually there's at least something in there that's worthwhile. So if I don't like the stuff around it, then it's like, all right, let's trim all that out. Let's rework this and keep what's good. But I think you have a good song when you have like especially a combination of a melody and a lyric that gets stuck in your head. And something that's kind of catchy with a good line to it that maybe expresses something that's like a common feeling, but expressing it in a new way. So that, when somebody hears it, they're like, hey, I know what you're talking about, but I've never thought about it that way.
So the band is actually working on the next batch of songs for the next release. Like I said, I just like that it's a quick turnaround, with you guys just kind of keeping things moving along. I guess now with the attention span, people don't want to wait, 2 years for like the next release. Damn, I don't even know what my question was going to be. I was just kind of putting that together there.
I think it will end up being about 2 years between albums when all is said and done. But the thing is that you have to like kind of have it done significantly before you release it, especially if you haven't been like planning your getting your music videos done, getting your headshots done, and like setting up all of that release material for the release. Which we are going to try and like work on that as we are getting the music together, ready to go. But like I anticipate having it done, like done, 11, 12 songs, mixed, mastered, artwork, ready to go, probably by June, but we probably won't actually put it out until a little bit later, I think. I mean, it's still kind of unsure exactly when we're going to release it. It's definitely going to be in 2025. It will not be later.
I know Jay's going to kill me for this question. What
You're
kind
good,
of
bro?
do you prefer? What kind of bass do you prefer to play? And do you prefer a 4-string or a 5-string bass?
So I've never played a 5-string bass. So I will say I prefer a 4-string, but I have no basis of comparison. And as for basses, I really haven't tried a whole lot of different stuff. I bought a used Jackson Spectra 4-string from Atomic Music down in I think it's in Beltsville or Laurel or something. I bought that. I really liked it. It was like pretty reasonably priced. I liked it a lot, so I just got a second one. And I'm not messing with gear. I'm not falling into that rabbit hole. I got a bass I like. I got a second one. I'm done.
Let me kick it right back up to you, Jay.
No, absolutely, for sure. So, Brian, kind of a fun thing too, for bands that are discovering you guys and then doing research, as well as Night's Edge fans that are go all the way back to OGs. What can you tell us about your decision behind a different visual appeal? You definitely had a very unique look at the beginning with the with kind of the black light neon paint that you were doing back in like the you and Tim and Tyler days, and of course Dan as well. But what was kind of your thought process behind changing it up to a more stripped down or traditional like rock band, look? But of course, you still have a great stage show behind us. You still have a certain amount of flair when you guys perform, but not quite as glowy.
So there was a handful of things that kind of went into that decision. First of all, the decision to do it in the first place was kind of literally just like we need a gimmick. So it's like there really wasn't a whole lot of thought put into doing the face paint at the beginning, other than like, okay, cool, this looks cool. Like this is cool. And then we kind of tried to incorporate it into the music a little bit with like the trying to tie it to Be One of Us and like making that the tagline and seeing if it would catch on a little bit, and it didn't. Um, and then we still did it for like a couple years. And then after Tim and Tyler left, the two of whom I would say Dan would agree with me on this. Those two had better face paint than Dan and I did. Like they had the better look. Their look was much stronger than ours. But after they left, and it was me and Dan, we were like, do we want to really continue doing this? And we decided, no, like we should leave that image in the past and kind of like we still want to have a you know I don't really think that going to a show and seeing a couple of guys in like boat shoes and cargo shorts that look like they just came from the grocery store is very entertaining. But at the same time, like going to the extent to having glow paint and bringing black lights and everything isn't quite necessary either. So I think we're still working on this, is kind of defining a look and an aesthetic for ourselves that is like a little bit more uniquely Night's Edge. But TLDR, we got rid of the face paint because we realized that it really didn't have anything to do with the music.
Sure. No, I definitely get you on that. I mean, hey, it was fun. It made for like, some greatest X. Definitely had some cool like vibey music videos and stuff. And again, especially with a song like Be One of Us, it didn't quite lock on to each other, but I definitely think it had its charm though as well. And I definitely do think it had its moments because I've seen Night's Edge in both visual looks. And I always enjoyed seeing, at times where the fans would even get, painted up a little bit from, various members of your crew or stuff like that.
Yeah, that did
You
happen a
definitely
couple
took
times.
advantage. Yeah, you definitely took advantage of, bringing the fans in, showing them a bit behind the curtain while you were still rolling with that look, which I always thought was very cool.
Yeah, we did do that, and sometimes there was a couple shows where like we did hire a face painter and she painted people's faces, like, and that was cool. It was definitely a cool thing. It was cool while it happened, and it did have some really cool aesthetics to it. Ironically, and I didn't really think about this at all prior to it, but it was also kind of limiting aesthetically because like all of our photo shoots just had to be black light. Like we
Uh,
couldn't go do a shoot outside like during the day or like in the woods or something like that. Everything had to be black light. Like we had one look.
That's true. Now that I think about it, I never really thought of it like that. It makes like, your locations, the style, the time of day, like all that kind of stuff. It kind of made all
Yeah.
those decisions for you.
Yep. And like all of our music videos had to be super dark because we had to have, the black light had to be able to show up. So we couldn't ever have like proper lighting and things like that. So it was kind of it presented a challenge in certain ways as well.
No, for sure. That definitely makes sense, 100% now that I think about it like that, for sure. So with the new record being out a little less than a year now, and those fresh tunes getting played, a new chapter in the band. So far, how is 2024 shaped up for you? And how are you looking, besides the shows that we've just spoken about, how are you looking at the last third of the year, for Night's Edge leading into 2025?
So 2024 has actually been really productive for us. We have done, I don't know how many shows, but it's more than we've ever done. Some of them have been really fantastic. We did Maryland Day with Transcendent Events back in March. The Transcendent and Rapola. So actually, Rapola brought us on, but it was kind of a co working with Rapola, so Nick Ellison and also Transcendent, so Kevin Hawk, and that was a really good show. At Power Plant, we played at Angels. That was a great one. And then we followed that up. We did Fang Around at the Dark Parlor up in York, Pennsylvania, which unfortunately they closed
Yeah, rest in peace.
relatively recently. Yeah, relatively recently. But that was really cool. And then the best one of the year was I don't know if you've heard of the Birmingham Meadery, but it is a mead hall. So they brew mead, which is like, it's honey wine, essentially. But it's out on the Eastern Shore, pretty close to Lewis, Delaware. And they had this Party Like a Viking festival, which is like an annual festival they do. And that was just an awesome show. We got added last minute on Saturday, and we're like the opening band for a couple of really heavy bands from Ohio. Like talking like sludge, thrash, and like Night's Edge is opening up. There was Avowal, Axioma were the two heavy bands, and then the headliner was Aussie and the Jupiter, which was it was pretty cool to open for them. They're kind of I'm not sure if you're familiar, but they're like neo folk, and they're from Ohio. I think they're from Ohio as well, except their cellist was from California. But it's definitely it was definitely a different kind of show, but it was so much fun. It's an awesome place to play. Birmingham treats their artists awesome, great turnout. So those were all great shows. We also played some new places like up outside of Allentown, things like that. And we also released our Change in the House of Flies cover back in April, which came out really good. We're really happy with how that the cover sounds, and like just having a piece of music that's like, wow, this sounds like really, really pro, as opposed to some of our early stuff, which sounds independent.
I can get you on that for sure. One of the things, actually, though, I'm kind of glad you brought that up too. Is like you've got a really unique choice in covers, which I think is really, really cool. Like when bands choose covers to do, whether it's for filler or for fun, or because it's something that genuinely fits their style and something that they know can be an asset to them. I always find that a lot of covers seem like they make sense, or they can come across as like somewhat generic. But when it comes to Night's Edge, I mean, you've got House of Flies, but then you've also got White Satin as like your choice of certain covers that you guys have done. And I've always found it really interesting. What is it about some of these, like, these kind of folky design songs that speak to you in a way to put a little grr behind them?
So I mean, with our covers, we really try to not just play the same thing as the original song. Like, we try and change the songs when we write our covers. I think the cover we do the most straight up is Judas Priest, Touch of Evil. We like doing that one just because it's kind of fun, and to have like a classic metal one. But like Change in the House of Flies, Dan and I are both huge Deftones fans. Just listen to that song. It's like, this would be really cool if it was just a little bit. But, well, it is already really cool. But it would be really cool if somebody took it in like a little bit heavier, kind of stompier, more direct directions. That's kind of how we did that, with a little bit more of a four on the floor chorus, as opposed to the big open wide chorus of the original. And then we threw a breakdown at the end because why not? Nights in White Satin, like that just sounded to me like a classic song with a lot of like kind of dark romance overtones. It's like this should just be a goth metal song. Like somebody needs to goth this up. And then I mean, Cry Little Sister. It's the Lost Boys theme song. Like that, just got to do that one. I think that's still. I think to this day that's people's favorite of the covers that we do is Cry Little Sister.
Yeah. No, I think so, and it's such a cool cover for sure. I mean, also like I love the song "Change in the House of Flies." I've always been very casual personally when it comes to the Deftones. I've got a lot of respect for them. I think Chino's an amazing frontman, but I've always been sort of on like the under style of those guys personally. But being that I'm a huge Queen of the Damned fan, that I love that particular song because of course it's coming out at an amazing time for the Deftones with with White Pony and that era and style for them for sure. But that's always been a song that I've always like super loved because of the ties in with Queen of the Damned. Not to mention that soundtrack just in general, I think is an incredibly untouchable soundtrack.
Yeah, there's something to that, like kind of early 2000s or late 90s. I kind of call it like, in my mind, it's trench coat metal. It's like the Matrix kind of long coat trench coat metal, just trench coat metal. Like that's what I call it. Like the stuff you would hear in Matrix or in Underworld or in Queen of the Damned.
Yeah. No, absolutely, because you can definitely look at things on like in all of those aspects, whether it's something like Change of the House of Flies from Queen of the Damned or something like This Is the New Shit from Manson off of the Matrix
Yep.
and stuff like that. So definitely understand what you mean by that for sure.
I mean, the ending shot of Matrix is to Wake Up. I think it's Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine. Like that's what that movie ends on. When Neo flies into the sky. Yeah.
And it's like it's so good for sure, man. But we were talking about this off the air, and I just think this is super cool. So you recently got back into the country actually because you were taking some time overseas for family, and you went to Wacken again. So dude, that had to have been an amazing experience because it's also not your first time.
Yeah, so I was overseas. I was on honeymoon with my wife. So we went to Sweden, and then we went to Germany to go to Wacken, which was our third time, and it was yet again awesome. So it was 3 years in a row. We were introduced to Wacken by some American friends who have friends that they met in Germany. So all of us camp together when we go there. We camp with a German family and our American friends and us, and it's just a big party. Our friends make it possible for us. We wouldn't be able to do it without our German friends helping us out. But camping supplies, things that you need to survive. Basically, you can't actually make it through a metal festival off of just like hamburgers and beer. Like coffee in the morning helps too,
For sure.
and shelter. But no, it's awesome. All the bands this year were amazing. Opeth was personal highlight, but also Spirit Box, Whitechapel, Blind Guardian. I saw Unto Others, which if you're not familiar with Unto Others, highly recommend checking them out. They're like up and coming, or maybe they've up and came, but kind of like the new thing that goth metal is right now. It's very much. It's kind of a combination of old school metal and like 80s goth, but done in a different way from like how a Typo would do it. And Typo is my favorite band, but it's like kind of similar ingredients, but with a different result. It's really cool. I highly recommend it on Unto Others. I think they're putting out they just signed a Century, and they're putting out their first album with Century Media. I think is their first album, Century Media, next month. That's a really solid band.
Oh, it's awesome. I'll definitely have to check them out too, because now that I think about it, because the name sounded really familiar, and then now I think I'm getting actually like a visual of like their logo, because I think they've got kind of like a logo that almost kind of looks like the Unto or Others or something, has like a spear or a sword or something in like the logo type
Yeah,
thing.
I
That
think you're right.
I think
I
my
think you're
buddy
right.
I think my buddy Ace from LA Guns has been pimping them out a lot lately. I think he's really been enjoying them as well. So I feel like they've
Maybe
been coming
they are
across my
coming
radar.
through. They're coming through the Fillmore at some point. They're opening for Wasp.
Oh, they're on the Wasp tour.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 95% sure.
Okay,
Like,
nice. I'll have to check that out, which means I might actually have to adventure myself to possibly another city to check out that Wasp tour, because it turns out the exact same night that Wasp is playing the Fillmore Silver Spring is the same night that Angel and I were invited to host the Blue Blues Vultures show with Ronnie Youngkins from Kix. And it's
oh,
like
okay,
and
yeah,
it's like man and it's like one of those things where it's like, man, when a member of Kix comes to call in for you to host their show, you answer that phone call.
you do it.
Oh
Yeah, you do it.
yes,
So
That's
it's
you
cool.
like,
you
Congratulations.
no, thank you. No,
you
we're
Yeah.
definitely stoked about that. We've got some cool Metal Summit on the road thing going, because that's at the end of November. At the early part of November, as of right now, Angel and I are traveling out to LA to host Kick and Valentina's show at the Whiskey A Go Go.
yes.
Okay, cool.
So
Going to
we're
LA, nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's going to be really, really cool. Which it's awesome, because there's some friends out there that we'll get to see. Our friends in the band Illusions of Grandeur live out there now, so it'll
Okay,
be very,
I've heard of them.
yeah.
I've
So
heard
it'll
of
be
them.
very.
I think Novarium just did a few dates with them.
They did, yes, they sure
Yeah.
did, absolutely. So that's definitely cool, but it's definitely fun for that, And I'm definitely gonna have to give Unto the Others more of a listen to as well, for sure. So
I'll message you one of their songs.
awesome.
I'll
Yeah,
send it
man,
to
for
you.
sure, man. That would rock, definitely. So with 2025 right around the corner, you talked about how great 2024 has been for the band. When it comes to 2025, what would you say, if you're able, is your current plan for just like a basic skeleton? So you had already told us in Angel's last segment about, 2025 will definitely have new Night's Edge music, but do you have a rough idea of like studio versus live that you would like to do with Night's Edge?
Yeah, I do. So I think and not I think this is the plan. The plan is studio at the beginning of the year. Um, realistically, shows in January, February can be pretty rough. People just got through Christmas. It's cold out. It sucks. It's dark. Nobody like the enthusiasm level for shows in January, February is pretty rough, and it stays like that till about Patty's Day. So we're already talking about recording anyway. So that's just going to be studio time, pretty much. Not that we would turn down an opportunity if something cool came up, we would do it. But the goal is record um, probably first 3 months. Um, although really the only thing that really requires super solid exclusive timing for recording is drums,
Mhm.
because have space for it. But everything else I record at my house. We
Nice.
record drums at guitar at my dining room table, and for vocals I just make a little nest in a room in my house. Um, and it comes out good. The stuff that we have right now sounds great. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, so recording first 3 months, and then we'll hit it as hard as we can the rest of the year for shows.
That's awesome, man, for sure. And Angel we bounce this question off of each other all the time and with our guests and stuff. And, you touched on it a little bit when Angel was talking to you about like the songwriting process and ideas that you keep versus ideas that you file. What would you say is your when do you feel that a song is done? Because especially with writing music, different riffs, extensions, bridges, all that kind of stuff. What have you found is usually the formula that, or how do you get triggered when you're like, you know what, I think we've got this.
So usually, um, I guess kind of the way that we work usually is I will create a demo of a song, and then I will share that with the guys in my band, and they will add their embellishments to it. But usually that demo that I give them is like, when you hear the final product and compare it to the demo, you can listen to the demo and be like, yeah, these are the same song. And sometimes those demos do start out from a place with somebody else's idea. But usually when I send those out, there is maybe a couple of iterations that just happen over time of like, this will change, that'll change, this will change. Like something will get changed when we bring it into practice at first, something will get changed after having played it for a month and a half, and then something will get changed in the studio. Something always gets changed. It just always happens. And usually by then it's like, yeah, we're done. And I don't know. We don't really get stuck on songs usually, fortunately. And yeah, in terms of writing a demo, it's like, I guess knowing that it's a demo in my head and that it's just going to my bandmates and nowhere else, kind of helps prevent me from getting hung up on being perfectionist about it. It's like, no, let's just get the idea down, let's get it out.
For sure, absolutely. So yeah, so you found, you probably would say you kind of found that, like, the skeleton demo of the song is usually, pretty much where it's at from top to bottom. It's just about it getting polished with the other guys.
Yeah, yeah, adding embellishments. Sometimes it'll be like, yeah, this verse doesn't work, we got to rework that. But usually it's, I don't know. I don't think we've ever really been like stalling ourselves because we were stuck on finishing a song.
For sure. I get you, man, for sure. And before I kick it over to Angel, how would you say, like, how does it come when it comes to you putting together like lyrics? Do you find that they kind of strike you throughout, or that, you've got different ideas or influences throughout your life? Like, how do lyrics kind of work you?
So lyrics, it depends. Sometimes a song will actually start with lyrics. It'll be like, okay, I have a line, and usually that line will have a melody to it. So it'll be like, okay, I have a top line, or like I have a chorus, I have a verse. Then I'll write the song around it. Sometimes I just have the music, and like sometimes I won't have any. I'll have nothing, and I'll just set aside time, sing over top of the music, and then after a couple hours, something comes out. And usually when I do that method, which is probably my most common, um, I'll end up workshopping the lyrics a little bit. Like usually some of my early lyrics would be like, okay, that's a little generic, that's a little cheesy, that's a little cornball. I'll workshop it over time. But when I'm like for 80% of it, I'll just kind of let the music go. I'll just let the recording go, and I'll just start saying stuff. And it'll be like, okay, this is a line to pursue. Like, let's sing about that, or be like, nah, that ain't it. Let's do something else.
Nice. I get you, brother, for sure. Right up to you, Angel.
Yeah.
What do you like the most about being a musician?
It's probably a tie. The two best things about being a musician, one is having a really killer live show. That's an awesome feeling. And then two is, either in songwriting or in recording, producing, or the final product, just hearing a song come together. It doesn't really matter what part of the process of creating it, but hearing a song come together and sound good is probably the other one. So I would say it's a two-way tie.
I've seen on your website you are coming to Asbury Park, New Jersey, October 12th.
Yes,
is that show?
That is. We do not have the event set yet for that. There is still some details to be worked out, but I have it worked out with the promoter, the individual who booked the date. He said he has a date set aside for us, so I'm thinking that that'll start kind of solidifying in the next couple of weeks here.
That's 30
And
minutes from
we
my
have
house.
well, once I have an event, I will get it sent over to you, and you should come out.
I'm definitely coming out. I'm only 30
Okay,
minutes away
awesome.
from Asbury Park. So,
Yeah, we haven't been to Jersey since before COVID. We played in Tom's River once, and then some other place in Jersey. I don't remember where it was. Tom's River was really cool though. But
yeah,
yeah, we love Jersey. So like, I know nobody ever says that. Everybody likes to rag on Jersey, but we're excited to come back. We've been trying to get back to Jersey for a while.
awesome. Definitely more than happy to have you come back to Jersey.
Yeah, we'll see. And we shot an application. I don't think we're ever going to hear back for it. But we shot an application in for a festival there next year. So it was like an industrial festival called Dark Force Fest. They like open application for artists. So we shot our shot. I don't know if that's going to materialize into anything, but we'll see. You never know.
Vampire Freaks puts on that festival.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, we're not quite industrial or pure goth, but we're close enough to either of those things where we would be able to. We put on a good show. People would dig it. But I mean, that's just part of it. Is just you just have to just take a million shots, and then eventually something will come back.
With the whole thing with TikTok kind of being popular, do you ever consider doing like a 30 seconds of a song and just putting it on TikTok just to see what happens?
Do you mean like as like a preview of new music?
Yeah, because people, I mean, Jay, you kind of know, I mean, I'm not too familiar with TikTok, but I guess people do music and stuff there. Is that right, Jay?
Yeah, they'll do clips and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
clips.
So I think what Angel's asking is like, if you if you don't already have an account, have you ever thought about, taking whether it's, clips of songs, clips of you guys performing live, or clips of music videos, and kind of putting them on to like TikTok just to kind of get them out into the ether?
Yes, we have a TikTok, and we have done that. We do that. We have a TikTok. It is usually mirror posted with our Instagram and our YouTube shorts. But I post all three of those 3 times a week with some sort of short video. A lot of it's be like live clips. It'll be us goofing off in the practice space, or I have done clips of music videos, things like that. But yes, we are active on TikTok. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do, but it's part of the grind.
I'm glad Jay handles TikTok because I'm like, okay, that's too much for me.
Yeah, but you also I was gonna say, you also have to keep in mind though that Jay's an old head and stuff like that too. So like our TikTok, we love you, by the way, Metal Summoners. You do give us a lot of love on that. But it is like, it's literally me in front of like my bookshelf at home, or sometimes I'm on the couch, and sometimes I've even done it at work. But it's just because I refuse to talk for more than a minute when it comes to those videos, and it's literally just, hey, this is who we've got tonight, or this is who we've got coming up. This is what they're involved in, and come out with us and rock out. I just don't believe in those long, like, diatribe, like videos, or hey, talking you off, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, watch for part 2. It's like, no, nobody's gonna go to the part 2 if you like let them on like that. So I'm a real like hardcore, like 45 seconds to a minute and no more, where I was like, hey, this is who we're rocking with tonight. Thank you so much for supporting the show and supporting these bands. This is what they're involved in, and we will see you at 9 p.m. on these channels. Just keeping it like right to the point.
Yeah, we try and keep ours pretty concise as well. I mean, frankly, personally, I don't watch TikToks, so I don't know. Maybe that's one of the reasons why our TikTok is kind of growing slowly, because I don't actually use it. I just post to it and I don't touch it because it's just not for me. But does the Metal Summit have a TikTok, or is it your personal TikTok?
I have a personal one and I have a TikTok one. So the funny thing is, um, we have a Metal Summit one and I have a personal one. The funny thing is, I was just like you. I don't. I'm not really into the whole TikTok thing. Really, I didn't care. It wasn't for me. I wasn't interested. The only reason I started my one to begin with was my buddy Sam was always sending me vids that I could never see. So every time I would click on these
Yeah,
videos that
yeah,
were sent to me, it would be like, cool, log on to your TikTok account. I'm like, no, can't I just watch the video that my mate just sent me? Like, that's all I want to do. Because they were always just sending me stuff about, like, Halloween or horror movies, or when Code Orange would hit and all of a sudden the stores have all their Halloween decor out. Like, that's all the stuff that would get sent to me, but then I could never start the video. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. It's free. Okay, Salem Vampire, like, and I start up, and then
yeah.
I
Just like I guess
remembered.
I'll install it. So that,
Yep. And then I vaguely remembered a former producer of the show had started a Metal Summit TikTok. And I found it and I was able to link it to mine. And so it's just been really easy doing it that way, where it's like, cool, I can just go on to my Salem account. I can, talk for 40 seconds about the guest tonight. And then I can post it. And then I can move myself onto the, you know, on just like on Facebook, I can go from my page to the Metal Summit page to the Vampire and Devil page, and then everything's cool. And then I do the same thing. Yeah, I just move over to the Metal Summit TikTok, do the exact same thing. Try to change it up just a little bit, just so it's not too matching. And then I just post it again, and then I just don't. And that's really that. I'll scroll on TikTok periodically throughout the day because, like, there are certain videos I like where I'll see something about, like, wrestlers I like, or you know Halloween or horror movie stuff. I'm always cool with, like, that kind of stuff, and every now and then I'll see something like kind of cool where it'll be like, hey, there's a gothic coffee shop in, like, Chicago or something like that, and I'll be like, well, I don't currently have any plans to go to Chicago, but Chicago's cool, so I'm down to do that. And now that I know that two of my favorite things are combined in a shop, I am super stoked to go find that when I get there. So I mean, I like it
yeah,
for those kind of reasons, but videos that I follow that I stumble across, like social unrest or looting or politics or whatever, it's like, nope, bye, like, right away. Nope, nope, nope. Not gonna watch, don't want to care. Stop invading and fucking with my universe. Like, no downgrading my chi.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely cool stuff on TikTok. I'm sure. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I do Instagram, and I think that gets like that. That's enough for me.
Sure.
But
Okay.
I will find the Metal Summit on TikTok, and I will follow you guys after this call.
You rock, man. Absolutely. For sure. Metal Summoners, you guys rock as well. We're going to keep Brian going for a little bit longer, but it is going to be
5 more
last call
minutes.
for alcohol fans. He's been really respectful of his time, but he does have a schedule this evening, and we want to honor that. So it is going to be last call for alcohol fans. Any final questions, comments, anything you want to ask Brian, or any curiosities that you have, definitely pop them in there. We will see them, we will get them, and we will get them answered. Right up to you, Angel.
Yep, we got Brian for 5 more minutes. And let me just pull this up real quick. Hold on 1 second. Someone wanted to ask about merch. So you go to knightsedge.bandcamp.com and you can find this nice looking t-shirt right here.
I have that.
So there's
bucks.
actually
And a free download.
we have a couple of t-shirts on there. We recently got patches, which I have not put on the Bandcamp yet. Maybe I can get them up sometime tomorrow. But our merch, we have 3 t-shirt designs. We have the moon, we have the scarecrow, and then we have the girls and the goat.
Girls.
That should be on the Bandcamp merch. I'm almost positive it's on there. I think the only thing that's missing from there is the patch, because we just got the patch.
Angel's looking for the girls shirt.
If it's not on there, I'll have to get that fixed.
Well,
I would have swore.
This looks like something, but
that's
I'm
it.
not gonna say
That's it.
Oh,
That's it.
That's the shirt that's missing from my collection that I have to do. I've got the moon
Yeah.
and I've got the scarecrow.
But you know what? Also, Jay, it has what you like.
What, girls and goats?
One step. Well, you
One
like
step
stuff
to heaven
that.
isn't high enough.
What one?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you like stuff that's written like in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a line from our song Candy Flip.
Candy flip. Yeah.
So, yep.
Wow. Oh, now I see it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Well, when you first look at the
we
shirt,
recently got those shirts. Those are pretty nice.
I'm not going to say it on the air what I really saw.
Thumbs up, baby.
No, but now I see the two women. But if you look at it from far away, it looks like something else.
You're such a gentleman.
No, I was just saying it from far away. It looks like something else. It's like you got to look at it closer.
You're gonna get. Hey man, you're gonna end up getting that shirt sold out. Brian's not gonna hate you for it.
It's a cool shirt.
Brian, you still with us, bud? No worries. Brian will probably pop back on in just a second, guys. So just hang tight, and we'll give him a proper farewell and everything. But like you guys heard when Angel was talking. Oh, hey, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I lost reception for a second there. Sorry about that.
Nah, that's cool, man. Nah, no worries, man. We were talking about the girls and goat shirt, and Angel was being very manly about something he felt he sees in the shirt.
So that I know what you're talking about, and that is not part of the shirt. I asked the artist, and that is not the case.
Hey, I was saying, hey,
that being said, you are not the first one to see that.
Thank you.
So don't feel bad.
But I was telling Angel, I was like, hey man, it's all good, man. If you're gonna put it out like that, who knows, man? There might be a flood of shirts, and suddenly Brian sells out, and he's not gonna be mad at you for it.
Oh yeah. Any press is good press.
Yes.
Absolutely, for sure.
And if my cousin is watching, my birthday's next month, so get me the damn shirt.
Well, when we come up to Jersey, we'll have them with us.
Absolutely, for sure. Angel, do we have any other questions at the moment, my friend?
Were you? Sorry.
Oh, we're from Baltimore. Oh, I guess I probably should have led with that. Yeah, we're from Baltimore, Maryland. Which we have our next hometown show is on November 1st at Zen West with Rapala Entertainment. That's with Nick.
Oh, nice.
We're playing with so we're playing with the last year Rise Among Rivals, 51 Peg, and Southview Drive.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. It's the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
We'll see if I survive, because we're going to see a dying fetus at the Fillmore the day before on Halloween.
Nice.
There's like some other crazy stuff on that show, like Body Snatcher and stuff. So we'll see if I'm in one piece on November 1st.
your neck hand for your bass is in a sling.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Hopefully, if I break something, hopefully it's waist down.
Yeah.
They could just prop me up there.
Just put you on a stool.
Exactly.
For sure, man. Absolutely. Angel, anything else from the Metal Summoners or the Night's Edge fans at the moment, my friend? Hey, no worries, brother. It's all good. Brian, man, thank you so much. But before we let you go, of course, my friend, please let everybody know where yourself and Night's Edge can be found. Okay, so we're Night's Edge. That is night, like nighttime, 'S Edge. We are on all streaming services. So that's your Spotify's, your Apples, your Tidals, any of them, we're there. We are on Facebook. The URL is facebook.com/Night's Edge Band. But if you look up Night's Edge, we'll come up. We'll come up on Instagram. We'll come up on YouTube. Just search Night's Edge Band. We are there. We have a website, nightsedgeband.com.
You can find us there. So anywhere where you consume music or you follow artists or social media, well, we're on it. We're on all of it.
Hell yeah, brother. That's awesome, man. And again, Brian, we really appreciate some of your time, man. And the biggest thing that always is important to myself and Angel is that you had a good time. You know, you enjoyed yourselves. You felt respected. You liked the questions that were asked of you. And most importantly, you felt that this could in any way was beneficial for you and your band.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been a
Absolutely.
lot of fun just kind of hanging out and talking with you guys.
Absolutely, man. I mean, well, you're alumnus now. I mean, you know, you're always welcome, even before this. But now that we got you, man, we'll definitely get you in a more like sit down way, especially when there's new music to talk about and all that kind of stuff. And if anything ever pops up that you want to discuss, or if you ever need a few minutes, just hit up me or Angel and just be like, hey, this new really cool opportunity popped up that I'd really like an opportunity to talk about. Can I pop on the show even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes? Angel and I are always going to say yes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'll absolutely keep that in mind. And when it comes time for new music time, I will. I'll definitely talk to you guys. And I would love to come back.
Awesome, man.
Definitely.
Yep, happy to have you again in the future, Brian. Thank you so much, my friend. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Get home safely, and we'll talk soon, man. It's always a pleasure.
All right, thank you, Angel. Thank you, Jay. You guys have
No,
a good
thank
night.
you.
Absolutely,
Talk to
for
y'all later.
sure. Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. Make sure that you're supporting Brian and Night's Edge on all of their socials. You just heard him as he listed them off. You can follow Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook. And you can also follow me on Instagram as well at Salem.vampire. And you can find me on Facebook as well. But most importantly, make sure that you're following the Metal Summit on both Facebook and YouTube. That's where these interviews take place. That's where you're looking at Brian and talking about Night's Edge right now. Also, make sure that you're following the Metal Summit on Instagram because that's where the announcements are made first. That's how you find out about our upcoming interviews. We want to give some love and a quick shout out to the Mad Shad of the Mad Shad channel on YouTube. He's the guy who designed our intro. We really appreciate him for that. So thank you, Shad. Go ahead and give his channel on YouTube a like and a follow, you know, if you guys are YouTube people. But have yourselves a great rest of your evening. Have yourselves a great rest of your week. Be good to each other. Look up Night's Edge on all of the streaming services and give them a listen and jam out to them all throughout your weekend. And we'll see you guys real soon. Guest announcement over the weekend, and we'll see you guys in a week. On behalf of Angel, Brian and Night's Edge, and myself, we thank you guys. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in a week. Take care. And as always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.